6-legger last night.
You hit that stupid.
I hit 2. My friend sent me one, and I was like, screw it. I'll just take all the favorites. And I took a bunch of favorites, and TCU was down 9-3, and they won on a walk-off drop.
See, that's the difference between me and Andy. I played 5 dogs. He played 5 favorites.
Yeah. There's levels to this. And Andy's on the bottom level.
Hey,
and of course I lose. But dude, I was just reading. I actually posted in the Discord like the fucking bets. That,
we're live. We're live, by the way. Yo, what's up? Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. We have college basketball. We have 19 games queued up. There's going to be a lot of NBA eyes, a lot of pressure on Toast and Andy to produce winners here. A lot of NBA eyes watching that don't normally bet college basketball. Will they fold under the pressure, or will they rise to the occasion? So we have 19, so let's just get right into it. Texas A&M +8, Alabama -8. I'm going to go betting the total, or maybe over/under or pass. That might be take more time than it's worth, but I'll try it on this one, see if anyone clicks that. All right, so as you guys know, I'm on Alabama here. I'm not thrilled with the line movement. It was at 9.5 when I was recording. It's at 8, so it's definitely moving towards Texas A&M. Definitely some sharp money came in on A&M, but I don't care. I love Alabama splits at home. Their outside shots just always see. I believe they're first in the country in true shooting at home. If not first, they're top 5. So when those shots are falling for Alabama, I trust this team. So I'm down to lay the 8 against Texas A&M. Isn't Texas A&M coming off a huge upset win also? Pretty sure I took them on this show when they were like +2 against somebody. That was 2 games ago? That might have been 2 games ago. All right. So, yeah, I'm on Alabama. What about you guys?
I'll go. I'm off of Texas. Texas A&M just had the weirdest week maybe in college basketball. You did bring it up. They did beat Tennessee.
Tennessee. That's the game I was talking about. Yep.
Yes, they beat Tennessee, and then they followed it up with a beautiful road loss to probably definitely the worst team in the SEC in Vanderbilt. I think they're a completely different team away from home. Alabama is just a different team at home. If you're playing Bama at home, you might as well chalk it up as a 10-point loss right now, unless you're Auburn, obviously. I'll take Bama in this one. I don't see it from A&M. I thought they did really well against Tennessee, and they lost that momentum. I mean, you can't lose to Vanderbilt. That's a game that's inexcusable. So, yeah, they lost a lot of their momentum.
Toast, do they bounce back after the Vanderbilt loss, or they pack it in?
So I bet this game as soon as it came out at 10.5 at A&M. Obviously, I'm not going to take it at this number. So I actually also played the over at let's see. Let me get the full number right now. I think it's 159 at 159.5. Like you talked about, Alabama at home has been fantastic. I just think that this is a nice little bounce back spot for Texas A&M, who has Arkansas on deck, so nothing really to worry about, and then Tennessee after that. So this is part of their schedule where they really need to shine. Obviously, Alabama's great, but defensively, they're not really as good as their offensive numbers are concerned. I think Texas A&M is going to be able to score regardless. And then I think even if Alabama gets hot from 3 and puts up a whole bunch of numbers, they turn the ball over a lot. Texas A&M should be able to get a lot of easy buckets in transition. They do a really good job of forcing turnovers. So I think it's more of an up and down game than Texas A&M is used to. And I just think we end up seeing a whole bunch of points. So for the show, I'll like the over at 159.
All right. So I can get down with an over here too. I think it actually moved up to 160 too. So line movement's on your side. Couple things. So yes, this is the tip time. This is a temporary spot when I have some time to incorporate it somewhere into the graphics. But for now, the tip time of the game will be right here. Scoop's in the comments, #bring back Scoop. Scoop, you're the one that it's not like I kicked you off. You said you couldn't do it. But we can't talk shit to Scoop because I think he's sweeping the board in the Premier League right now. I think he's 3-0. Someone said in the Discord, I want to suck Scoop's toes right now. They said that, which means I'm assuming he's winning bets.
It could be just something that person wants to do.
Yeah,
it could be Scoop's best friend.
Personal preference.
It could be Scoop, to be fair.
I was going to say, we don't know.
66%, 24%. So everyone's on Alabama. Definitely a little bit of a square favorite here with the line dropping from 9.5 to 8. I don't care. I'd still take the Tide.
Square.
Next. TCU at Kansas State. To be honest, I haven't looked at this game at all. We didn't do – me and Andy – Andy was the one that he was here, helped me make that video yesterday. We didn't have this game queued up. We went through 8 of them. No, we went through 9 of them, and this was not one. So I know that TCU is a team I like to bet at home. So I guess just first glance, I would lean Kansas State, but I got nothing. You guys have a move on this one?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd side TCU here. I know a lot of people have been kind of just backing the home team in these Big 12 games. I think TCU needs it at this point. They're starting to they've been back and forth now. I think they're a better team. I really don't know much because Kansas State, I've kind of gone away from them. I like TCU here, but I don't really have a lot to say about it.
So a lean towards TCU,
Yeah.
Toast?
I would go with TCU as well. I understand that Texas in the Octagon of Doom, or I'm sorry, Kansas State in the Octagon of Doom is a very good team, but they're 5-6 in conference. TCU's 6-5 in conference, and I just think that TCU is just a better team. Like Andy said, I understand everybody's going to be jumping on Kansas State for that reason, but I think that TCU's been playing much better basketball. Wins against Baylor and Texas Tech. They lost a home game to Iowa State. Or I'm sorry, a road game to Iowa State and a home game to Texas. And they came back and throttled West Virginia. Kansas State, on the other hand, has been pretty much terrible. They have one win since January 24th, and that was against Kansas, a big win. But it was at home, and we know Kansas is 1-5 on the road in Big 12 play. So it's a solid win. Kansas is a decent program, but when you don't have McCullers, you don't have your full complement of players. I don't give you full credit for that. I think this line is a little screwed up. I'm on TCU myself.
Yeah, not really. So I was leaning Kansas State. You guys are both on TCU. The comments are all over the place. Helms is on TCU. Chad Cuba's on TCU. Thomas Schott's on Kansas State. Tate's on Kansas State. TWD's on Kansas State. Doug Lean's on TCU. Everyone likes this game, but everyone's split down the middle. I'm going to side with my compadres up here and put TCU up because I trust their judgment. And I don't know enough about Kansas State to just place a bet based on my own accord. So I'm siding with them. TCU. Next. Texas Tech on the road at Iowa State. Toast, did you watch the video we made yesterday?
I didn't.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. So basically the way I broke it down was it's one of those games.
Yes, I did. You took Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I think it's the right move here. I mean, look, it's crazy to try and step in front of the Iowa State train right now, but we're laying a big number here with a Texas Tech team that on paper, they're going to get looks from outside. If their threes are falling, I think they're live. So I definitely feel comfortable taking the points. It's just crazy if you look at Iowa State's numbers at home and the rate that they're covering numbers to try and step in front of that. Sounds insane, but I didn't place this bet yet. But this is the only side. It's either Texas Tech or pass based on what Toast said. If he's like heavy on Iowa State, I might pass. But I'm on Texas Tech.
Not heavy on them. I just don't think Iowa State loses this game at home. So I used Iowa State in a couple different little 2-team parlays. I used them with Duke and Nebraska. The Nebraska one's a little bit juicy, but this Iowa State team at home has just been a juggernaut. I mean, we just talked about that TCU team being decent. They beat them 71-59. They beat Kansas at home. They beat Kansas State by double digits. Houston by 4 at home. So this Iowa State team at home has just been fantastic. Sauce is right, though. Don't sleep on Texas Tech. This team might not be able to play defense like they used to when Mark Adams was coaching, but Grant Gaslin's got this team throwing up 3 balls. They can shoot the ball with the best of them. I think they still are the best. They are the number 1 offense in the Big 12 as far as efficiency, effective field goal percentage, 3-point shooting, free throw shooting. This team can shoot the lights out. So, yeah, I think they're live. I just don't think that Texas Tech can win this game with the Iowa State defense. So if I had to take a points, I would definitely take Texas Tech. But like I said, I'm going to be using Iowa State in the moneyline parlays.
So just to share one of them, Duke, Nebraska, Iowa State, moneyline parlay. Do you have an estimation on the odds on that?
I don't, because I just looked them up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So that Toast is using Iowa State moneyline it up parlay. Andy, did you agree with my Texas Tech look?
I didn't. I think Iowa State. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I turned my mic down and it was like all crazy. Yeah, I like Iowa State here. They're just a better team at home. They've beaten a few different teams at home this year that kind of gained their respect for me. I think they're just kind of a train that's not going to get stopped right now. I like Texas Tech, but they're not we've talked about it. They're very bad on the road, especially on defense. So I don't I don't see it here for them. I like Iowa State at the 6.5.
Rob Thomas Shot says all that red and yellow confuses the other team. There's an angle I haven't heard. So he's betting Iowa State because the red and yellow is just too much to handle. Wow, it's a deep dive there.
It's just about as your deep dive as Matt Campbell.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm fading Matt. I can't believe I'm fading Coach Campbell right now. 53% Iowa State, 36% Texas Tech, and only 9% pass. So a lot of people are betting this game, leaning towards Iowa State as a community. One sec, let me clear this off. Next, Wake Forest at Virginia. I'm on.
Go ahead, Sock.
Yeah, you already know I'm on Wake. So, one second, hit the poll up. Yeah, I'm on Wake Forest here. I think they're the better team, and look, it's on one side of the ball. It's really hard to make cases for Wake Forest. It's really hard to make a case that Wake Forest is going to go into Virginia and score points. But at the same time, you can make that same exact argument on the other side. And if just going on the most simple metrics, just basic efficiency numbers, Wake Forest has played better than Virginia against a stronger schedule. Me and Andy were using the last 10 games as our sample size, and Wake Forest had significantly better efficiency numbers against Wake Forest's strength of schedule in the last 10 was like 52nd, and Virginia's was 102nd. So Wake Forest putting up better numbers and producing better against a stronger schedule recently. And I think I actually bet this already. I got it at 2.5. I guess Andy made the graphic at 3, so there must be 3s out there. And in a Virginia game that's going to be defensive, low scoring, the total's at 130.5. Holding a number like +2.5 and +3 could come in handy as well. I mean, this game could have 60-59 written all over it. In a game, Virginia's kind of a team where, like, I'm down to bet them as an underdog, but as a favorite of anything more than 2, I got to start asking questions because we know that offense has struggled all year. So I'm on Wake here. Already bet this one. So a bunch of my picks I have pending, waiting on to see what Toast and Andy say. This is one I bet it because I'm on this one regardless of what Toast and Andy say. I like Wake today.
Well, it's a good thing I like Wake Forest too then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, so look, like Sauce alluded to, you can definitely point out why you might not like Wake. They're 2-6 on the road, 2-6 ATS on the road. They're 0-5 as a conference underdog. It doesn't really bother me. Like, I really can't add much to what Sauce said. I just think that, like he said, Wake Forest is the better team that's played a better schedule. And I think off of a loss, I like it even more. They got embarrassed against Pittsburgh, and now they're going to bounce back here against this Virginia team that has played really well over the last 2-3 weeks, but hasn't been tested like Wake Forest either. If Wake Forest wants to make the tournament, they're going to have to win a game like this. I just think that Hunter Silas and stuff is going to be too much. And like Sauce alluded to as well, such a low total. I would love having more than a possession in my hand. So having 2.5, 3, I love that. So yeah, I'll take Wake Forest.
Someone says your boys better hope Tim Duncan shows up to play.
I got Hunter Silas, dog.
Comments are on Virginia, by the way. Alt line, Virginia -12.5. Alt line, Virginia -4.5. Virginia 13-1 at home. So it looks like the comments are on Virginia. I already know Andy's on Wake because he's big on this Wake Forest team. He likes them.
Yeah, I love this Wake team. I thought they were going to beat Duke. I think I live bet them like 5 minutes into the game and when they were down, and they almost came back.
Didn't they lose by the hook?
I think, yeah, by the cover did lose by the hook. Yeah, I thought they were going to win the game.
That was
unfortunately,
they missed a free throw at the end.
Yeah, they are. they are. I think they are one of the most underrated teams in the country. They run a very fast pace. They can score quickly. That's something Virginia obviously does not do. So you're basically asking, will Virginia be able to stop a team that can pretty much score from anywhere? I don't see that. I think they're just quicker than them. I know Virginia's great at home. They've been great at home forever. Tony Bennett at home has been great, but I think Wake Forest is just a better style, if you will, here.
Really quickly, 2 other things that I forgot to mention in my notes. Free throw shooting. You know I guys love that. Number 1 free throw shooting in the conference, Wake Forest. Dead last in the conference, Virginia. And Virginia can shoot the 3 ball, but guess what? Wake's number 3 in defending that 3 ball in the conference. So it's not going to be easy settings for Virginia.
So if someone says every time Toast talks, they play a commercial. I wonder if there's a way I could see when the commercials are playing so we can like stall a little bit before getting to the next one.
Yeah, that is weird.
That must be new because we were doing live shows for like a year and a half now and never had that problem, and now all of a sudden people are talking about commercials. 46%, 44%. So Virginia wins the poll. Community slightly leaning towards Virginia.
Got to get that YouTube premium, huh?
Yeah, I guess. That's what it is. Next up, Creighton at Butler. This line is at 3. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
If this is one that I did do in the video, and if I was forced to pick a side, I would go here. Creighton -2.5, Creighton -3. But actually, what I think the best bet is right here. Under 151.5. I think this number was at 153.5, so dropped a couple points, which makes me feel a little more comfortable, even though obviously it made my bet less valuable, but at least the market agrees with me. Butler, if you're looking at the matchup for Butler's offense, going to be tough sledding for them to score here. This is a good Creighton defense, and more importantly, it's a Creighton defense that plays well on the road. There's not many teams in college basketball where if you line up their metrics home and away next to each other that they look the same. It seems like every single team in college basketball this year is so much better at home. That's not the case for Creighton's defense. They play really well on the road, but at the same time, I like the way Butler matches up defensively against Creighton's offense. I think they're going to have trouble scoring. I think the under will be the move here. This is another one I didn't bet. I'm kind of waiting to hear what these guys' opinions are. But yeah, I'd lean under.
Go ahead, Andy.
I will say I don't hate the under. I think at Butler, it's a different story. These two teams did play. I think it was an overtime game if I'm looking at. No, it wasn't an overtime game. Played on a Friday night a few weeks ago at Creighton. It was 99-98. Creighton barely lost the game. I had Creighton in that game, so I was pretty pissed. I think they bounce back here. They are the weirdest team in the Big East. I think they have all the talent in the world, but for some reason they come up short in some of their bigger games. I think this is a game where they're going to bounce back. They lost to the team. I know they're going on the road, but they lost to the team. Their revenge spot. They have more talent than Butler. Butler's been big thing is they grind out games, and they do it better than pretty much anybody in the Big East, but I think Creighton's talent is going to take them over today.
Yeah, and another reason I'd lean Creighton is it seems like these teams recently have kind of been what kept me off of Creighton and had me betting the under, this is what I meant to say, is Creighton 3-6 against the spread in the last 9, and Butler's 4-2 in the last 6. So one team's been covering the number recently, and one hasn't, which worries me a little about Creighton. Toast?
I love Creighton here. We get a revenge spot for Creighton. Don't forget, Creighton lost to this Butler team at home 99-98. I also disagree with the under. I think this game probably goes over as well, but I like Creighton. Creighton is my play. I just don't trust this Butler team. I don't think Thad Matt is that great of a coach. I will give Butler a little credit to the last 3 games. Their losses have been against Connecticut and Marquette. Those are 2 of the best teams in the conference, let alone the country. But I think this is just going to be too much. I think Kalkbrenner and company are just going to be a little bit too much. Baylor Shireman starting to play better. Trey Alexander starting to get more into the mix. I think this Creighton team is kind of starting to turn the corner here. I think that win against Xavier was huge. Again, I just like the revenge spot considering that Butler beat them at home. There's no way they come into this place and lay an egg. So, yeah, I really like Creighton here.
Yeah, so all 3 of us leaning towards the Creighton side, and the community definitely leaning towards Creighton. 63%, 19% on Creighton. So look like Creighton definitely a public favorite here. And with the line dropping from 3.5 to 3 to even 2.5 on some books, it's a little bit concerning, but I'd still lean Creighton. Next, Florida at Georgia. Andrew, is your season over?
No, I don't think they win today. I think they cover, though. I think this is gonna be a very close game. Very fast paced, so there will be a lot of possessions in this game for these teams. We saw this game happen. Florida was bludgeoning Georgia in Gainesville, and Georgia stormed back. They're never out of games. I will give them that. They tend to lose big games, so they probably won't win the game. But they have played close games with some really good teams and have come back when they're down big. At home, they're a much better team too. Florida's nowhere near as good offensively on the road. So I think we'll see a close one, but I still think Florida.
Isn't Georgia kind of ass at home though?
No, they've been all right. They've been fine at home. The problem is they're hosting really good teams, and they're going on the road against the bad teams. They play, not bad teams, but the lesser teams they played. They went on the road against Arkansas, against A&M. They hosted Tennessee, and they had to host Alabama. So they've played really good teams at home.
So Georgia +4. He thinks Florida wins but doesn't cover. Okay. Toast?
Over. I'll just make it simple. Over. I agree with Andy. I think the pace is going to be there in this game. Both these teams like to run. I like the fact I actually think that Florida might run away with this one, and I hate to say that because I really don't like this Florida team. But I understand that Georgia fights a lot, but they really have not looked good. I mean, they have one win since January 20th, and that was against LSU at home, and that was their one lone conference win at home. So, it's just really hard for me to get behind this Georgia team. I really thought I was getting there after the Florida game and stuff like that, but they've kind of fallen downhill. I don't know what kind of happened, but I would lean over here if I had to make a play.
I'll just put Georgia +4 up for me, but I have no idea. I'm not betting this.
I did bet that over, by the way.
Yeah? So Toast likes the over. I'd lean Georgia. Our poll is leaning towards Florida. 45%, 30% in favor of Florida. 24% pass. A lot of people passing on this one. Next. Where the heck? There we go. Texas at Houston, and this number's down to 10. I gave out Texas +11.5 last night. So the line moved in my favor. Well, not in my favor, but in my favor as far as confidence. So yeah, I'm on Texas here. It's as simple as I don't know how you lay double-digit points with a team that just isn't making shots. They're in the bottom 50 in college basketball in efficient field goal percentage in the last 10. Houston's an elite team. They're just not making shots. And I know Toast is about to lay 10 points with Houston. He has a weird hard-on for this team.
I'm not laying 10 points with Houston.
Yeah.
I don't have a hard-on. They are going to be an Elite Eight basketball team. Just mark that down.
Okay, are they going to get there by winning by double digits? That's all I care about.
They don't need to. They have the best defense in the country. They put you in a freaking chokehold. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot play against this team. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So, under then.
It's a pass for me. I don't want anything to do with this game.
After that thundering speech, you passed.
No, because between you and Oaks, I think there's this big perception out here that
I don't hate Houston.
That Houston isn't that good, and then I have this huge hard-on for them. This team is absolutely fantastic, and they're a juggernaut defensively. I would lean Texas with the points as well, but I'm not playing Texas on the road. I'm not fading this Houston team either. So.
Yeah, this is not a fade of Houston. It's a fade of the way they play.
I was just saying.
Andy?
Yeah, I'll side with you with Texas, but I do like this Houston team. I kind of agree with them. I think a lot of people – I think it's a popular opinion that everybody assumed Houston was going to be less than what they've been because they changed conferences. They've actually responded to that very well, and they've looked good in Big 12 play. We saw these teams play a close game in I don't know where they played. Did they play in Arlington? Where's Texas? I don't know. They played at Texas, and it was a close game, went to overtime. I think it'll be close again. I just think defense in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Houston's a polarizing topic. I guess people either love Houston or hate them because the comments are going about it. Our poll leans towards Texas, though. So we got 42%, 37% in favor of the Longhorns. Next game. Wow, I think my mic's kind of quiet here. Let me turn it up. I didn't realize that was... All right, that should be better. All right, that might be too loud, actually. Sorry about that. All right, anyway. So, next game up is Virginia Tech at North Carolina. North Carolina coming off a loss to Syracuse. And I don't want to spread my wings, toot my own flute here, but I had Syracuse in that game. Absolute sharp. Just an absolute sharp by all measures.
How'd that Georgetown game go last night?
What is everyone's obsession with this Georgetown pick? No,
me? I was just asking.
It lost. It lost.
Okay.
No, I got a bunch of comments about that pick. I want to talk about Georgetown.
I didn't know that. I was just talking.
No, everyone's mad about Georgetown. So does North Carolina bounce back?
Yeah, North Carolina, come on and raise up. I love this team. I'm going to continue to bet this team. I don't give a shit. North Carolina has treated me very well, and I actually think that Virginia Tech stinks. So Syracuse, look, when USC lost to Syracuse, they shot almost 50% from deep. I just don't see Virginia Tech doing that. I understand that Virginia Tech can shoot the ball, but North Carolina defends the three-point shot the best in ACC. The Virginia Tech defense leaks like a sieve. They're absolutely terrible. I think that UNC runs all over these guys today. USC by 15+.
Andy?
Yeah, I think they blow them out. They have to respond after that. I thought, yeah, he was right. Syracuse did things that other teams. I mean, it's very tough to maintain a 50% shooting from the field. Like that's something Virginia Tech just doesn't have in their arsenal. I think they're gonna have the best player on the floor. I don't know if they had that against Syracuse. So, yeah, I think they blow them out here.
Someone says, I need to know what Toast is drinking. It's probably Mountain Dew Purple. Oh, Monster.
Not surprising.
I would go the other way here. I feel the same about this North Carolina team as I do about Houston. I love the defense, but I think double digits with an offense I don't really trust is not something I like to make a habit of. So I would lean this way. I didn't bet it, though, so I'm not going to. But I faded North Carolina for that very reason in the last game, and it was profitable. Maybe I'll go back there again. I wouldn't lay 10 points with North Carolina. Polls all over North Carolina, though. 66%, 21% in favor of the Tar Heels. Next game. BYU at Oklahoma State. I just threw this one in on you guys. Oh, wow. It looks like our pie charts are off now. Let me see. Oh, no. You just have them mixed up. Okay, no worries.
How did I do that?
That's all right. BYU at Oklahoma State. BYU laying 6 points on the road. And at first glance of this one, I mean, this just isn't a big enough number, right? Oklahoma's the worst team in the conference, right? Am I way off there?
Yeah. No, you're not way off.
So is BYU -6 the move?
Yeah, I've used them as the money line parlay piece personally. But yeah, I don't think there's any way you can play Oklahoma State here, especially if you're getting BYU starting to play better basketball. One loss since after they lost to Texas Tech and Houston back-to-back, they followed it up with wins against Texas and West Virginia. They just didn't show up against Oklahoma. And then they went and beat Kansas State at home and UCF. I understand this game's on the road, but I just don't think that BYU loses this game. Oklahoma State's been absolutely terrible. The BYU offense has been absolutely awesome. They're top 10 in the nation and everything. So, yeah, I just find this a really hard spot for Oklahoma State to stay in this game because offensively they have absolutely nothing.
It seems like everyone is leaning towards BYU. The comments, the poll, everyone leaning towards BYU.
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, I think I think the line is this way because Oklahoma State just played a close game against Oklahoma. I'm not going to fall for that. That was a rivalry game. I think they nearly won the game, but that was a rivalry game that, of course, you're going to wake up for. I don't see it from them. I think their leading scorer, they lost them mid last week, or one of their better players. They're not even playing Power 5 players, Power 6 players at this point. Their coach is trying to defend his job at this point. That's usually when you know it's over. So I think they get crushed today.
They lose Bryce Thompson, and then he's in a press conference saying, I just don't know what to do. I mean, I can't go. I got Cade Cunningham because I spent 7 months with him, and now I don't have $500,000 to pay him to come to Oklahoma State. What do I do? How do I coach these guys?
I think he's paraphrasing there. I don't think that's a direct quote.
No, that's pretty damn direct.
No, it's pretty close to what he said, to be honest. He's whining like a little baby about not being able to get players. It's
69%, 15% in favor of BYU. Now, that scares me because no one is on Oklahoma State. Nobody. It's a little worrisome.
I used BYU as a money line pair. I didn't lay the 6.
Okay.
No way they lose that game.
And speaking of Duke on the road at Florida State here. Duke -5.5. I don't like this Florida State team at all, but I'm also not crazy about Duke as far as laying 5.5 points on the road. Either you guys have a move in this one?
I'm on Duke. Don't really love it. Another one where I think their moneyline parlay is a better shot. But this Duke team has been really, really good in conference play and all year. I think they lost that Arkansas game way back in November, and then they lost to Georgia Tech. And I think people started maybe looking at this team with a side eye. They lost to Pitt, and then they lost to North Carolina. And besides that, they've been fantastic. They haven't played some crazy good schedule, but they don't have any look-ahead spots here. They're in the ACC as far as that's concerned. I mean, they're sitting there at number 2, tied with 3 losses. So I don't think that either one of these teams can afford to lose, Duke or North Carolina. And that's what I think happens. The reason that I played that is because Duke and North Carolina play each other at the end of the year. I think they both go into that game for the ACC conference on the line. So I don't think North Carolina loses today. I don't think Duke loses today. And I think that sets up that matchup later on in the season. So, yeah, I'm on Duke today.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm also on Duke. I feel like me and Toast have been agreeing a lot today, but I think he put it perfectly. That Georgia Tech game was 2 months ago now. Since then, they've lost one road game. That game was at North Carolina. I'm not going to get scared off by them losing to North Carolina. Like we just said, Oklahoma State played a close game. You play your rival, you either win, you lose. It's always close. I don't see it from Florida State either. About a week ago, I thought, hey, this Florida State might be able to go on a run. They have some guys who can get hot. But they're not consistent. Their offense just isn't there. And I like this Duke team personally. I know a lot of people don't think they're national championship ready, but I think by the time we get to March, we're going to be talking about them possibly being in the Final Four. I really like the shooters, the mix with their big men. I really like this team.
I mean, this is a back-to-back games that we did. We're the road favorite, catching 65, 70% of the tickets. It's concerning. I mean, what about a Duke BYU moneyline parlay or something? I don't want to.
That's what I have. I have Duke BYU money line. I've got Duke Iowa State money line. Like I just.
Well, Iowa State's going to lose though.
No, they won't.
Be careful. Red Raiders outside shots are going to fall.
Matt Campbell is going to be pissed.
Whatever. I guess I'll just put up Duke. I don't want to even. No.
I don't want to put it up.
I don't want to because
I don't want somebody to screenshot.
There's no way Duke and BYU are both covering. All right, so 64-16. So polls have heavy in favor of Duke. Another square road favorite.
They're an unranked home run underdog, right? Yeah, those teams have really struggled. They're 11-16 ATS in February. Just by the way.
All right. Now we get to probably the best game of the day. Marquette on the road at UConn. And let's get the poll going. Let's see what the folks think about the best game of the day. The number 4 team in the nation against the number 1 team in the nation. Marquette plus 6.5. Connecticut minus 6.5. Cast your votes. Polls running. And the pick is UConn Huskies. Of course. This is a perfect sell high spot for Marquette. They're ranked number 4 in the nation. They are not the 4th best team in the country.
Yes, they are.
They're on a little bit of a heater right now. Everyone's suffering from recency bias. Marquette struggles to defend the 3-point shot. They've been lucky that they haven't really faced a team that can light them up from out there. Welcome to Hartford, Connecticut, where UConn is going to hang 90 points on Marquette. And look, Marquette's probably a top 15 team in the country, but there's a gap. There's levels to this, and UConn is the cream of the crop. Connecticut up all the way. I'm on UConn, and it seems like Toast is on Marquette. He's drinking.
Go ahead, Andy.
No, Toast is drinking the Marquette Kool-Aid. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I like UConn too. I get it with Marquette. I get why people. I do believe they are a top 5 team in the nation.
Thank you.
They were at the beginning of the year. They just had a little bit of. They had a really tough schedule. They lost games to Purdue, Wisconsin. Like,
whoa.
Okay, Andy.
Kansas, North Carolina, Tennessee. These teams would put Marquette in a blender.
What the fuck, man? I feel like
Marquette has the 15th hardest strength of schedule in the country. What's UConn at? 66. It's not even a fucking same thing.
Yeah, but exactly.
Yeah,
but
but
they have 5 losses.
I don't know what those are.
How did that happen? Huh.
You knocked your camera onto the ground.
Yeah. No, but I do think they were one of the best teams at the beginning of the year. They've lost a good team, so I'm not afraid of that at all. Like, I think they're a really good team. I just think UConn is. I think they're maybe the greatest team I've ever seen. I think this team is.
Oh my god!
No, I do. I think they're unreal. They come into this season. Everybody says you can have your whatever they call it, the next year slump after winning a national title. They are unreal. So I like them. I like them a lot.
Toast was visibly offended by what you just said.
I know. I don't know what's so crazy about it. Yeah, ever.
Best team ever.
Okay.
Don't let up.
You're smoking. I smoke good pot, but you got some good shit. Okay.
Marquette.
This is the Golden Eagles program. First of all, fly, Marquette, fly. What they don't tell you is Shaka Smart as a road dog. 52, 26-2 ATS in his career. These are the times you take Marquette in any of his teams. It doesn't matter if he's at Marquette or Texas or whatever. Marquette +7 is the play. We're also going to play over 147.5. If it went up, keep on playing it up, because if Marquette's going to stay in this game, they're going to have to play with pace. UConn doesn't play with the same type of pace, but if Marquette has any type of chance of staying in this game, they're going to have to play in the half, not let Huskies play in the half court. They're going to have to get out in transition. UConn is a very good team. I'm not trying to take that away. Tristan Newton, Donovan Clingan, Cam Spencer's my freaking boy. But you know who's better than Cam Spencer? Tyler freaking Kolek. Cam Jones. Tyler Kolek is probably, I think he's the best point guard in the nation. Marquette plus the points and the over, and I like them a lot both.
I say right around halftime is the time Toast goes ghost in the Discord when UConn's up 11.
I got coaching to do. I won't even be watching, unfortunately. But no, I will be winning this game.
Did you hear what he said? He said Tyler Kolek is better than Cam Spencer. That's what you basically said. Yes, Cam Spencer's the third or fourth best player on UConn. Of course he's better than their third or fourth best player. UConn's two best players far better than him. Donovan Clingan, if he can stay out of foul trouble, because he does have an issue with that, unreal. Yeah, he does get in foul trouble a lot, but unreal, the talent on that team.
UConn by double digits.
No.
And the poll agrees with us with
58%,
34% of our viewers on Connecticut. Pie charts are leaning towards Marquette, though, so who knows? Next.
Can I ask just one question? When's the last time UConn had an impressive win? What was it? Just tell me. Just really quickly.
Creighton.
Okay. When was that?
A while ago. When was it? Whoa. Who is Marquette beating? In the Big East, there's very middling teams.
Oh, no, you're right. Marquette did beat Georgetown. Ooh, DePaul. Oh, they beat
St. John's. Oh, they look good right now.
They almost lost to St. John's. Wow. Who the hell's Marquette played?
They've played the 15th hardest schedule in the country. UConn
back in December.
Purdue earlier in the year.
Back in December. Let's get on to the next game. Next.
Best team ever.
Toast was like truly offended by
that.
I was surprised.
Best team ever. Just keep in mind, Andy's best team ever lost by 15 to Seton Hall.
You're
talking about 2 months ago,
15.
Right before Christmas.
If they're the best team ever, they should be winning games from the start to the end of the year.
It was Christmas.
They've lost 2 games, both true road games to good teams.
Look, on this next one, we got Kansas on the road at Oklahoma. I know that Kansas has been so bad on the road, and their shooting in particular, they just cannot get their shots to fall on the road. But I think they finally start falling, and I'm on Kansas. This line was at 1 when I recorded the video yesterday. It's now 2.5, so Market has driven it up a little bit. But overall, if Kansas even has – they've been poor shooting the ball on the road. They've been really bad. If they're even slightly below average, they should win and cover this number. The only way that this number makes sense to take you – well, actually, at +2.5, it's a little closer now. But when it was at 1.5, the only number that made sense is if you're literally betting on Kansas to have another poor road shooting night, which I understand because that's what they've been doing. So I'm going to take Kansas. I mean, there's no way they could continue to shoot this poorly on the road. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games on the road. So they've really struggled away from home. I think they finally snap out of it. Against the Oklahoma team that continues. Every time I bet this team, they lose. Oklahoma. I've had enough betting Oklahoma, man. Toast?
I completely disagree. I would bet Oklahoma. I didn't bet this yet. I was waiting for it to get as much big as I possibly could. But yeah, I just will not bet Kansas on the road. They're 1-5 on the road this year in conference play. I don't know if McCullers is going to play, but even if McCullers is going to play, it doesn't really matter to me. Oklahoma's been decent at home. They're 2-0 against top 20 teams at home this year. I would take the points with them if I had to make a pick in this game. I didn't play it personally, but there's no way in hell I'd bet Kansas on the road. Not a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's right that their Kansas recent road performances are bad. I'm banking on that finally turns around. Andy, are you with Oklahoma or Kansas?
Oklahoma. I agree. I just can't bet them on the road. Terrible performances on the road. I do agree with you. At some point, I think it will be figured out, but I think Oklahoma is a tough enough team that they won't yet. So I don't love the game. I think it's two very similar teams. So, but I'd side Oklahoma.
Someone said Kansas is overrated and Dickinson sucks. Look, I know that a lot of people clicking Kansas in this poll are betting on Kansas. This is more of a fade of Oklahoma for me. I don't think Oklahoma's any good. It's not so much that I believe in this Kansas team. It's more I don't think Oklahoma sucks, man. They've let me down so many times this year. If this was 4.5, I probably would get on board and tail with these guys.
I was waiting for a 3. If I got 3.5, I'd be good.
It's at 2.5 now. Let's see if there's what the line's doing now, real quick.
I wanted like a full possession. That's what I was looking for.
Let's see. So Kansas, Oklahoma. I see 3s. It's still 2.5 in FanDuel. DraftKings has 3. PointsBet has 3. There are 3s out there. So you can get 3s if you're looking for an Oklahoma +3. All right, our poll is on Kansas. Let's see what we got. 64%, 26% in favor of Kansas. Someone said, "Sauce, let Toast talk. NCAA's not your thing." I'll have you know that I've been winning the ATS contest on this show. But yes, I do.
Actually, I think Scoop has.
Yeah, Scoop
He's
won.
crushing it.
Scoop won last one, but I did win a couple. But yeah, I usually my picks that I put up are based on what they say, though. Why am I on the screen twice here?
It's done that a few times.
It
just disappears at some point.
Yeah, I fix it. All right, Illinois at Maryland. Toast.
Andy, use yellow in the pie charts.
Yeah, this is a bad one. Andy.
Oh shit! I thought I did. All right, well that's bad.
Yeah, we'll blow it up. That's the pie charts have been Andied today.
That one's. Yeah.
Okay, so let's blow it up so you can see. It's the public's on Illinois.
I mean, there's numbers there.
I'm on the Terps here. I like the Terps. The defense is not the issue for the Terps. The issue's on the other side of the court. So on paper, Maryland defensively should give Illinois' offense all kinds of problems. I really like this matchup for Maryland's defense, and I think even the people betting Illinois would agree with that this is a tough spot for Illinois' offense. What most people who are betting Illinois are probably thinking, and I can't speak for them, but they're probably thinking Maryland can't score points, and they're not even wrong. But what does Maryland do a lot of? Attack the basket. They're 62nd in shot frequency at the rim in the last 10. Happens to be the weak spot of Illinois' defense. They're back at 220th and 240th, protecting the basket. So Maryland attacks the rim a lot. Illinois struggles to protect the basket. Also, if you look at Maryland's home-away splits, their offense still not good, but much better at home. I think Maryland wins this outright. I'm not big on this Illinois team, so I really like this one. I don't even know what Toast is going to say yet, but I like my pick here.
I couldn't agree more. I like Maryland plus 2.5, 3. I was kind of waiting to see where that line goes because it's kind of a later game tonight. Or if you don't like that, I would play Illinois team total under 70.5. I just think I can't really add to what she said. I think that this is a really good spot for Maryland at home after a Michigan State loss that they probably should have won that game. I truly believe that. And then they come back and have a really huge win over Michigan. I think that was almost 30 points they beat Michigan by. Or I'm sorry, that was Illinois, excuse me. I just think that this number is a little bit inflated. Maryland's lost 3 of their last 4, but Rutgers on the road, or Rutgers that game, it's like they just didn't show up. They didn't play any deep, or both teams played defense. It was a rock fight. It was first team to 61. The Ohio State game, I just don't understand. It was a double overtime game. But my point to all that is I think that you have a team in Illinois that really can't be priced higher, and a team in Maryland that might not is pretty low priced. So I think that you have a nice value getting some points here with the Maryland team at home. And it kind of shows that because when I made this in my head, KenPom has this at 3, and they didn't even put it at 3 to start. So I'll take my chances with Maryland at home.
Andy, are we sweeping with the Terps?
Yeah, I feel like I'd be going against my own notes if I didn't take Maryland here. I think 100% every spot kind of showed that they can score enough to beat Illinois. Maryland's their offense is awful, but I think they'll be able to do just enough. Their defense is so good. I mean, it'll match up perfectly against Illinois. So yeah, Maryland.
3 picks for Maryland. The community, however, disagrees. 47%, 39% in favor of Illinois. So viewers are leaning towards Illinois. We all like the Terps.
Illinois really cleans up like inside. They shoot like 50% from like inside the paint, like 2-point field goals and issues. Well, the only defense, or Maryland's the number 1 team and then one of the number 1 teams in the nation defending that. So it shouldn't be a problem.
It's a real thing when somebody's like legendary coach dies. Because I'm looking in the comments and like one of Maryland's like legendary coach died today. Is that like an actual thing people bet on teams because of that?
I mean, not a professional, but yes, some people do bet that way.
Utah State on the road to Colorado State. I got nothing.
I got something. Andy, you got something?
I put this in here for you because I knew you love the Mountain West. So.
Oh, yeah. Huge game here. I think Colorado State takes this. This line's gotten up to a kind of point where I don't really like as much, but I don't think there's any chance that Colorado State loses this game. I actually paired Colorado State and South Carolina together at plus 101. But this Colorado State team, actually, let's just start with Utah State. Utah State, kind of a top 40 team in the country, but on the road, they haven't been as great. They had a nice win against Boise State on the road that they got overtime, and I think that's kind of fool's gold because they went down and then they got absolutely throttled by San Diego State after that, and then they went and played Wyoming, who's a terrible team. But this Colorado State team, on the other hand, is, I think, a lot better than people think. Nico Medvedev is one of the better coaches in the country. They're coming off an embarrassing loss against San Diego State where they lost 71-55, just an absolute embarrassment. And they also lost to this Utah State earlier in the year on the road by 5. And then after that, they had a bad loss to Boise State. So I just think this is a really good spot for Colorado State to bounce back here. They've played a top 20 schedule. Isaiah Stevens, Joel Scott, all those guys are freaking studs. I just really hate the spot for Utah State as well. It's just back-to-back games on the road, first in Wyoming and then in Colorado. Just a really bad scheduling spot for them as well. So I really, really like Colorado State here today.
Sounds good to me. This line was at 3.5 too. So
I know
sharp money coming in all over Colorado State.
It's like that's why I kind of was like, yeah.
Andy, Utah State for you.
No, I'm with him on Colorado State. I don't have much on it, but I think he's right. Better team.
Poll agrees too. We got 51%, 25% in favor of Colorado State. Next, Kentucky at Auburn. Here we go. Kentucky's a live dog here. True or false?
Yes, I think they are. I took their money line today.
There you go, Andy. All right, let Andy go first. Kentucky plus 8.5.
I definitely, look, I get the line. The line was at what, 10 when I left yesterday, Kyle. It was going back and forth. I think
it was at 7.5, and then 10, then 7.5 again, and now it's at 8.5. So.
Yeah, so it's been back and forth. People don't know what's going on here. I'm not betting against John Calipari at this point. They've lost some games they've lost to good teams. It's not like they're losing to bad teams. Gonzaga and Florida at home. Even South Carolina. They're not bad teams they're losing to. They're just kind of struggling. Those are all at home. Like, they've been fine on the road. I think they'll be perfectly fine in this one. To cover the number, be a close game. I'm sure he's going to give this stat. They play close games when they're dogs like this. So
they win.
Yeah. They win.
They don't play close games. They win. In the last 7 years, there's been 5 instances where Kentucky has been getting more than 7 points. Just 5 times in the last 7 years. Kentucky's 4-1 straight up in those games. So whenever people start to doubt Kentucky and the odds makers put a line out there where Kentucky should get beat up, they usually don't just cover, they win. And this is one of those times. 100% on Kentucky. I didn't play the money line yet, but I'm probably going to. Everyone's sleeping on Kentucky. There's a lot of sharp action taking Auburn, like, Auburn at home. This is John Calipari in Kentucky, man. I don't care what's happened over the last month. You know that just stack the teams up. This game could come down to the wire. So definitely on Kentucky. I know it's going to be extremely public dog. Don't care. I would assume every single time Kentucky's getting 8, 9, 10 points that they're extremely public dogs. And you know what? They usually win. So, yeah, I'm on Kentucky.
If you know me, you know what it is. Over. I don't even really have to spend too much time on this, guys. Kentucky games just keep on flying over the total. I understand that their last game didn't kind of laid an egg there. Their defense kind of, showed up, against Mississippi, if you want to call it that. But also, I just wanted to talk about what Kentucky's done. I know that you can take a look at what they've done over the last couple of weeks and say, they're only 2-3, but they lost to Florida in OT, which I I mean, that was like a win of all
Couldn't have
ages.
lost that game either.
Yeah. That was a win of all wins for Florida. Then they come back and they lose to Tennessee, which, I mean, it was a short turnaround after an OT game. And then they lose to Gonzaga. And as much as I would love to sit here and say that Gonzaga is a good team, Gonzaga is not. They were just probably very, very, very desperate. And they played the best game of their young season. So, I just think that Auburn and Kentucky are in both great spots to score. We know how good Auburn is offensively. I think Jabari Broome is going to go absolutely off today. I think Dillingham and Reeves go off too. Both these teams can shoot. Neither one of them defend at a high level. I'm sorry. I guess Auburn, you can say, defends at a very high level. Kentucky doesn't defend at all. So I'll take my chances. I think Kentucky can score on any defense in the country. So that will negate the Auburn defense. So over for me.
John Bell, Mr. Wisconsin, says, my insider said Auburn will win. His insider says an 8.5 point favorite's going to win here.
Wow.
We're asking who's going to cover, man. 57% to 32% in favor of Kentucky. So community likes Kentucky. Of course, when Kentucky's getting this many points, they're going to be a public dog. I'm on it.
Didn't even mention
That was
Auburn.
a great stat by you, by the way. Touche.
What well, me and Andy were talking, and we were like, when's the last time Kentucky was even getting 9.5 points? Because that's what it was at the time. And I literally went year by year, put them into a spreadsheet, and sorted out. It took 5 times in the last 7 years, 4-1 to the money line in those games.
What did we say was the time they lost? I think it was against Auburn, right? But it was the time where they had like
the
Harper
one time they lost
team.
was actually on the road in Auburn. They were getting 9.5. They lost by 12.
You left that on your post.
Well, I actually didn't even realize. Didn't even think about it until right now. Andy, who was on that Auburn team?
It was the Jared Harper, Bryce Brown Auburn team from 19, I believe it was. It was a good team.
All right, now let's move from an awesome SEC Kentucky Auburn game to an NC State Clemson game that I'm not sure why Andy put the graphics in.
And Andy, I'm so mad that you mentioned that team, but go ahead, keep going.
Why, you don't like that Auburn team?
Oh, I think of that team, and there's so many players on that team like Anthony McLeod. Yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
NC State at Clemson, I don't even have remotely a lean here. I have no idea. Do you guys have anything?
I take that like that guy in the comments. I don't think that Clemson loses, but I don't really want to lay it with them either. To be honest, I guess I think there should be some value on NC State. I don't really think that North Carolina State's very good, but they seem to be playing decent at times. I don't know. I think Clemson's kind of fool's gold. People have been telling me for weeks that they're a tournament team. They finally have started to play good after that win against North Carolina, so maybe they've turned a corner. But I just, after seeing them kind of almost lose to Louisville, then they lost to Virginia, I don't know. I'm just really not there with this Clemson team like everybody else is. So I lean North Carolina State, but again, I don't really like them either, so it'd just be a pass for me. But I guess lean North Carolina State. The
problem is, I think I would be there and be down to play that. I like how this game's later, so maybe we can make a decision at like 6 p.m. But I went in kind of hard on Miami plus 7.5 against Clemson the other night, and Clemson beat them up in the second half. It was actually close in the first half. I wasn't watching it. I was just tracking it on my phone because I was working on something else. And I was like, yo, Miami's got this. I think they were down like 4 at half. They ended up losing by 20 points or something. Got their asses beat. So I'm a little nervous about fading Clemson after what they just did to me. But I would that's the way I would go too. But like I said, don't know much about these two programs. So
the last 10 minutes of that game, Clemson won 29-9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I remember in my head, I was like, yo, I think I might get this cover. And then I looked and saw final score, and they got blown out of nowhere. Yeah. So, Andy, any lean here?
Yeah, Clemson.
I knew that he must have a bet in here. Why would he put these graphics?
Clemson guy, Andy? Do you
I'm
think
not a. I do think
he loves Dabo. He loves Dabo.
I hate Dabo, but no. This basketball, I mean, I think this is probably their best team in years, so I do like them. I think they're a good team. I do think they're a tournament team. I think they have a pretty big game coming up in a few games against Duke. That's going to be a big one. And this is more, NC State's not a good road team. I mean, they haven't won a road game since, I want to say it was in December against Louisville. They are not a good road team. Away from home, they just, like I said, they can't score. They have a good defense, but I think Clemson has enough offense to get it up. This will be a 10, 11 point win here.
Clemson by margin, according to Andrew.
Anytime I see NC State play a road game, my immediate assumption
I
is
know, but then they end up playing these weird road games. It's like, like how did they keep up with Wake? Like Wake was in a prime spot. I don't know.
That was a look ahead. It was a look ahead for Wake. Wake had Duke on deck.
I'll give you that, but man, that was just that team.
So our poll, Clemson minus 7.5 won the poll. 31% pass, 25% voted NC State. Next. Arizona State at Arizona. Andy put this one in there.
This one, the reason I put this in there, I thought the line would be closer because they're rivals. But because this was the only game, because it's so late, I didn't have a line on until like literally yesterday at 5 or 6. I was like, all right, screw it. They're rivals. I'll put it in there. Then I saw the line and I actually got pretty happy about it.
Toast, is it worth trying to take a shot with Arizona State money line in this rivalry?
I wouldn't do it personally, and I'd be down to if I could get there, but I would.
Arizona State has no offense.
No, they have no offense at all. I think Arizona runs them out, but Arizona hasn't been like the juggernaut at times too. I actually played over 156. But yeah, I think that Arizona likes to get out and pace. But here's the thing: Arizona State kind of plays with a little bit of pace as well. Arizona State also does a really good job. Both of these teams actually do a really good job of turning teams over. I think that we just see a lot of some transition buckets here. Neither team is a great free throw shooting team, so that might be able to hold things off. But I think that we see best efforts from both teams. This is kind of, not that Arizona State's going to make the tournament, but if they're going to get an effort from out of them, it's going to be against Arizona. And like I said, they've won 2 games in a row, so they're not playing horrible. So I played over just because I didn't want to lay 20 points with an Arizona team that hasn't really done well for me personally this season.
Rock with Tetris says, my insider tells me that Arizona's going to win this one. Thank you for sharing that. His insider likes Arizona on the money line. What is that, minus 2,500? In these kind of games, if you subscribe to this channel, I like to lean this way, rivalry game. But Arizona State cannot score points, so really tough. I didn't bet this one. You know what'll happen here? If I'm having a great Saturday around 9 p.m., 30 minutes before this tips off, I'll put $100 on Arizona State money line for fun. But I wouldn't lay 18.5 points at a rivalry game, but at the same time, I completely understand why the line is 18.5. So, I got nothing here. I would try to get to Arizona State for fun. That's all.
The same way I felt about Oklahoma State last week. They're an awful team, but they're waking up for this game. Bobby Hurley's going to have this team juiced for this game.
Oh my God,
they're not winning.
Bobby Hurley, bro.
They're not winning this game. It'll be probably a 10-point loss, but I think it'll be close at halftime. A close game pretty much for most of it. They have such a good defense. I think it'll be just enough to kind of keep it close. They're not going to get blown out of the gym against their arch rival. I don't see that happening. If Arizona was playing anybody else, obviously I think they blow them out. But I think playing your arch rival, it's going to be close.
I'm going to get a little crap for this, but if you were to bet Arizona State, Arizona a little bit of a look ahead because who do they have on deck? Washington State. Washington State's number 2 in the Pac-12.
Arizona doesn't give a shit about Washington State, dude.
You don't give a shit about Washington State. How'd your
Nobody does.
How'd your Cal bet do the other night?
They fell short.
They lost by 20.
That sucked.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on.
Man.
Oh my God! You guys beat Cal? Wow, my bad.
I'm not them.
I didn't realize you guys beat Cal. In that case, Wazoo probably Elite 8 team, right? Toast is a homer with Washington State.
I'm not.
They got Washington State on deck. They don't give a shit about Washington State.
Sure. Washington State's number 2 in the Pac-12.
Yeah, Arizona is not worried about Washington State. They're worried about their rival Arizona State more than Washington State.
I don't think so.
God. Oh, look
Somebody in the comments put NC State better than Georgia. Is that supposed to be like a hit at me? Because I know. All right, there's a lot of teams better than Georgia. What?
You're talking. Andy is the most pessimistic, negative Georgia fan of all time.
I know.
We were up at halftime to Alabama, and I looked at Kyle and I was like, "No."
Yo, someone said y'all do this game, but not the Iowa State game. My man, we go in order of tip time, and we did the Iowa State game about an hour ago. All right, next up, number 18, Colorado at USC. Special shout out to the Trojans. I got a lot of hate for the pick. Even Toast didn't agree with me. I don't think he was
I
on the
didn't
other.
agree. I just passed.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't on the other side, but he didn't like the pick. USC came through for me. Got the win. It actually got interesting at the end. They made it interesting. USC almost blew it at the end, but they were in control for most of the game. So the question is, Kyle, are you going to go back to USC after they paid you out? The answer is no. The answer is no.
Great.
Great. Colorado in a bounce back spot. Andy, why do I have Wisconsin pie charts down here?
Because I thought you were going to do the game that was earlier first.
Oh, yeah, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
You're right. So I probably messed this up. Anyway, Colorado. So I lost the Colorado bet and won the USC bet. Colorado, really disappointing start to the game. Came back and almost won after they were down. They were down like 16 at one point. Came all the way back, almost won the game. So you got a Colorado team that I think is a little bit, what's the word? I don't want to say like undervalued because it's based on
Terrible on the road?
Is the word you're looking for terrible on the road? No, they should. USC, with all the star power, all the eyes on USC. Early in the year, everyone was betting USC. They were a public side every single game. They kept losing. They're waiting for a reason to get back on USC, and USC just gave them one. Collier's back. Boogie Ellis. They won a game. Everyone's back on the USC train. This is the time to sell high. It was a nice little blip. We got our USC money. Time to bail on the train. Toast wants to stay on the train until it wrecks. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on the train until it wrecks. At least now, finally, that we got a win. Also, let's just take a look at how Colorado coach Tad Boyle has done ATS on the road in his career at Colorado. Let me check the numbers. 47, 77, and 1 on the road for Tad Boyle. That's 37% cover margin. Yeah, USC for me. Collier, all those guys back playing well. I'll take my chances with Tad Boyle, who never wins games on the road.
Andy, do you believe in Bronny James and these Trojans?
I'm not going to talk about a bench player as the reason I believe in him, but I'm going to side USC just because Colorado fucked me the other day. I had him in the Charleston and Colorado parlay. Thought they were going to – they looked good at the beginning of the game. It was close. Thought they were going to be all right. Then they were down big, came back. They looked bad toward the end of that game. They were not prepared to win that game on the road. They are a bad road team. So I'll side USC. Don't love it. I didn't have the game listed here, but I would side USC just because they helped us the other day.
USC, huh? Wow. Community. Okay, so maybe my take about everyone jumping back on USC might have been wrong because 69% to 22% said they're betting Colorado in this game. So community heavily agrees with me.
If you're betting Tad Boyle on the road, you got bigger balls than me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
All right, so we got last game. Whoa, what does that say? Where's my Iowa-Wisconsin game? Oh, hold on. I think I have it. One sec. Where the heck is my... Oh, man, I don't have the graphics for Iowa-Wisconsin. But, I mean, we could just put them up. So, what I like, and it's supposed to be Iowa-Wisconsin. I'm sorry. Let's go. It was a late edition, and I like the over in the game. Iowa's just been... The defense is terrible, but the offense is actually a little bit undervalued. I actually think the Iowa offense is pretty good. So that's the only way I'd go here. Iowa over 152.5. Do you guys have a move here? We don't have the graphics up.
I lean Wisconsin. Just
you love
because
this Wisconsin team.
No, I really don't.
You always bet Wisconsin.
No, that's not true. Go look. But I bet them a couple times. But yeah, I'm not really trying to bet this Wisconsin team on the road. They've lost their last 3 road games. Their only road game win was against Minnesota, which they didn't cover that game. And beating Iowa State at home by 8 doesn't really do much for me. If you're not beating or covering against Iowa State, there's no way I'm going to back you the next game on the road where you've shown that you can't play. So I lean Wisconsin, but there's no way I can bet them. I just can't bet Iowa. They've been pretty damn bad. They've been better at home. But I actually think that if you were to bet this, I'd bet Iowa team total under, probably around the 80 or 70, high 70s or whatever.
Iowa's offense has been pretty good.
Yeah, I know, but I would trust the Wisconsin defense to play up if they're going to win this game like I think they will. But yeah, again, it's just a lean. I didn't bet this one.
Andy?
I don't. This is a lean as well. I would lean Wisconsin. Iowa just give up 78 points to Maryland on the road.
Yeah,
like
like-
that's
Maryland's
78
offense
points.
at home is better than you think. I tried telling you that earlier.
But it's still a bad. That's how bad Iowa's defense is. Iowa's defense is awful. I think Wisconsin
so
will do
take the
enough.
over.
They won't be able to score. No, because I also don't really trust Wisconsin that much either. So I just side them. I don't love the game. I think they're both very similar teams. I think Wisconsin had a good run that got them up toward the top of the AP poll, but I don't think they're that type of team, to be honest. I think they're a middle team. I think they'd be a bubble team if they didn't have a hot start. So I don't really love them.
That's true.
53%, 32% in favor of Wisconsin. So the poll is towards Wisconsin. We have time to do a monster community parlay. We got 19 entries into this. So let's go. All right. So Texas A&M at Alabama. They definitely picked Alabama there. TCU at Kansas State. We all picked TCU, but they picked Kansas State, I think, right?
I think so.
Texas Tech at Iowa State. They definitely picked Iowa State there. Wake Forest at Virginia. We picked Wake. Did they take Wake also? No, they took Virginia, I think.
No, Virginia.
All right. First leg of the community parlay. Let's see what the last one was. SMU, Washington. Colorado was the one that ruined this, right?
Yeah.
Yep. First leg of the community parlay. This is going to be a big one, too. 19 games going into this poll.
Yeah, hopefully we're able to tail this one. Because we will be, because there's no New Jersey teams.
Someone said they want a 19-team parlay. Wow, so this one, I almost can end this poll pretty quickly. This is Alabama runaway. Holy shit. That's a blowout. Yeah, I can end that already. First leg is Alabama money line. All right, let's pull up, get the second leg going. We got Creighton, Butler, definitely Creighton. We all took Creighton there, even though I actually leaned towards the under. Florida, Georgia.
Florida.
Yep. Texas, Houston. We had Texas. Did they? No, Texas won that poll. I'm positive. Texas money line. We got a dog on there. Virginia Tech, North Carolina was definitely North Carolina. Even though I honestly think Virginia Tech makes that interesting. I know I'm the only one in the world. North Carolina, I just feel like their offense isn't that good to count on them to win by double digits.
That's fair.
Toast, that's the second time you made that face when I said that.
I just don't understand the North Carolina offense isn't good. They have, I don't see it.
I'm going by numbers here. Not who has the coolest jerseys, Toast.
They would top that list, though.
Jerry Stackhouse doesn't play there anymore.
Okay. They're the fourth most experienced team in the country. They have the 24th best adjusted efficiency, playing the 14th hardest schedule. I'll take my chances with that offense.
Oh, just 24th.
With the 14th hardest schedule in the country.
You said adjusted.
That's fine.
So
okay,
if you're using adjusted metrics,
we can get going into those other numbers too. I mean, it's all the same.
If you're using adjusted metrics, you can't also use strength of schedule in the
I
same
understand
argument.
that, and that's why I just said we can go into the others. We can talk about their offensive rebounding. We can talk about their turnover percentage. We can talk about their really good free throw shooting. We can talk about their experience. We can fact that R.J. Davis and Armando Bacot have huge tournament experience.
We get it. You're a Tar Heel fan. Got it.
I'm just saying.
Poll ended. North Carolina money line. But a lot of people voted for Creighton, so Creighton may get another shot, but they may not with the amount of games we got on here.
It'd be nice because they're like a little bit of a nicer.
Right, it'd be make for the payout better. All right, so Duke, Florida State was Duke. BYU, Oklahoma State was definitely BYU. Marquette, UConn. That was UConn, right?
Yeah, I think so. The next one was
Kansas.
Kansas. Yeah.
All right. Cast your votes. Cast your votes.
Anytime Armando Bacot's brought up, I get angry. I think he's one of the single most overrated players in college basketball.
Armando Bacot?
I've been saying for 3 years that he's not an NBA player, but in college, he's going to get you what you need.
Yeah, I don't. Do people think he's an NBA player?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's people that think that, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I feel like he doesn't have the athleticism to play a big in the NBA.
He doesn't at all. He's just big.
Right.
He's like similar to Edey in that way, just clearly not going to be anything in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, I just turned my mic up too much. All right, so it looks like UConn money line. This is going to be one hell of a chalky parlay here.
Not if we can get him to go Kentucky. I don't think
they did.
If we can talk him into Kentucky, it'll be fine.
How about this? Because it's so chalky, if they pick another favorite, we're gonna run a fifth bowl. So
I mean, those three are plus 100, so it's not terrible.
Okay. So Colorado State money line. No one's gonna vote for that.
No.
Kentucky money line. There you go. There's your dog community.
What about Illinois, Maryland?
Clemson. Did I skip that one?
Yeah.
Oh, what did they vote for? Illinois. Definitely. Yeah, they definitely voted Illinois. Clemson money line. Arizona State, Arizona, no. Colorado, USC, which they voted for USC. No, they voted for Colorado. There you go. Colorado. Last poll. If Clemson wins, we'll run a fifth one because that won't be much of a payout.
Oh, Kentucky.
Kentucky's getting votes, baby.
Here we go.
Kentucky's getting votes.
Lots of votes.
Yeah, Kentucky money line at Auburn. This is going to make the payout juicy on this one. Appreciate it, Chad Cuba. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. Yeah, I mean, there's over 1,200 people in there, 1,250. Yeah. We just started the college basketball show this year, so it's crazy because this is a brand new show. The MLB show we were doing last year, we'll be back on opening day for that. That shit's fun.
Multiple people asked for Toast's thoughts on Yale Princeton. What do you got there?
I thought they played last night. Didn't they play last night?
Both those teams played earlier. I don't have any interest.
Wait, I thought they played last night.
No.
They played like 2 nights ago. Like it's a very short turnaround for those teams. Unless I'm completely wrong.
I'm almost positive.
They played last night. They played Brown last night. Yeah,
Yale played Brown. Yale played last night too.
Yeah. So I don't have anything there. A couple other games I bet the under in American Lafayette under 126. I like West Virginia today against Baylor, and I like Gonzaga to blow out Pacific.
It is Kentucky.
Hell yeah.
Are we adding another team to it, or is this
not with Kentucky? Hell no.
744.
744. All right, community parlay. Alabama money line, North Carolina money line, UConn money line, Kentucky money line for a payout of plus 744.
On any other Saturday, that would be so chalky, but because of Kentucky, Auburn,
it makes it awesome. It makes it awesome. All right, thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to be uploading a Daytona 500 video in about 3 or 4 hours. So if you're trying to bet the Daytona 500, I put some work into it too. There's good information in there. Full disclosure, in years past, I struggle betting NASCAR, but not from lack of effort. I put a lot in there. And I don't
think it's been that bad.
Well, no, last year I started off really hot. I hit on for the first 5 races, but then as a whole I finished down betting NASCAR. So hopefully start off hot again. That'll be posted sometime this afternoon. Yeah, let's have a great day. I'll be in the Discord all day. I had no NBA, so I'm going to be watching basketball, hanging out. So if you want to chat, you want to place some bets and hang out, come on into the Discord. That's on KyleKirms.com, by the way, if you don't know where to find that. It's right on the homepage. It says, click to join Discord right there. So everyone, have yourselves a great Saturday. Remember to bet responsibly, and we will, no live tomorrow. We'll be back on, I guess, Monday. Talk to you guys later.